Here's another interesting isekai called Quality Assurance in Another World. There's 12 episodes so far at the time of this recording.
I just finished watching episode 12 before we got on the podcast. You know, Nicola is my favorite character. She's so cute.
I like her too. For those who are new to the series, Nicola is a NPC character, a young girl who lives in a fantasy world that is actually a game. She lives a peaceful life in her village until these dragon creatures show up and attack. That's when the other main character, Haga, appears, a young man who turns out to be a game debugger. So he came from the real world, but hasn't been able to log out.
That would be a scary situation, like getting stuck in a game. And I don't think Haga knows how to get out, right?
I think so. Not much has been revealed yet on possible escape routes from the game so far in these episodes that we've seen. But the girl Nicola has this meta AI in her called Tesla, and this entity seems to know some things. So maybe that info gets revealed later on, or maybe the manga readers might let us know.
The characters meet a lot of other people along the way, like Amano, who makes manga, and Akira. The show feels like one mini quest after another.
Yeah, it does feel episodic in that way, but it also touches on some interesting big questions. There's this one moment in a later episode where Haga kind of has a nervous breakdown next to Akira, and he talks about feeling caught between minding his own business as a debugger versus trying to do good and stepping out of his comfort zone. But it doesn't lead to positive results. I really felt his despair in that moment.
Like it was a character-defining moment. That's where I really saw more of who Haga is. I hope they give him, like a bigger hero arc.
There's definitely setup for that, but I think his moment of despair gets us thinking about what it means to make an impact in the world around us. I mean, any one of us can choose to live very solitary lives focused on ourselves and our ambitions, but what does this bring to us in the end? Is that a life worth living, or is there more to the bigger picture?
You mean like what is our purpose in life, or how do we justify our actions to make them meaningful?
Those are good questions, and I think I'm touching on both. You see, the reason I brought up that moment when Haga has this existential crisis is that I think we can all relate to it, at least at some point in our lives. We can easily be content with minding our own business, but then we see the world around us, and we can't honestly say at times that things are not what they should be. Then we try to do something about it, and sometimes it doesn't go well or it doesn't turn out as expected. That's really frustrating and disappointing.
I would feel powerless. I mean, maybe even helpless and depressed.
And that's natural to feel that way. We're kind of confronting our own limitations. Maybe we can even call them failures if we want to be bold. Like Haga, in that specific moment, we realize that what we're trying to do isn't making a difference. We want someone or something bigger to help us, to save us, to fill in the gaps that we can't do ourselves.
That's very human. I can see why a character like Superman appeals to people.
It's the idea of a savior that's embedded in the Superman story. He comes from another world into our world, and he has compassion on people and steps in to make a difference. This is kind of veering away from where the story of Haga and Nicola is right now, but like I said, it can make us think of deeper things if we look a little closer and put some thought to it. I think ultimately it touches on this very real recognition that life is very hard and challenging.
I don't know if that's the most hopeful thing to say, but I can relate to that.
Confronting the truth and breaking past any misconceptions or delusions actually can give us freedom. The freedom to take responsibility for reality and our circumstances, and then to make a choice and react to it. We can control our reactions to things even if we can't control other bigger things that are outside of our sphere of influence.
That's big stuff. I need to take more time to think about all that.
Yeah, it's heady, but that's what stories can make us do.
And that's why I love them. My brain feels like it's getting bigger by the moment.